What's going on, people? It's day 190, I believe. I'm not exactly sure, I've lost count at this point, but whatever it is, I'll put it up on the screen as you can see right now. And I'm just in the woods because it's really hot today. It's potentially going to reach 33 degrees, I believe, in Manchester. And even right now at 10 o'clock in the morning, it's roasting. So I just went for an early bike ride and just had to take cover in the woods in the shade. It's very, very hot. Wait, where? Check these out. These Ray-Ban Meta glasses, version 2s, generation 2s. And I have custom lenses because I actually have prescription. I've got an eyeglasses prescription. And my eyesight is terrible. Now, you might be thinking, he's homeless. How can he afford Ray-Ban Meta glasses? Just for some context, I actually had the generation 1s back in 2025 when I wasn't homeless. I ended up selling them because I barely used them. And I ended up using some of the money, or most of the money, to get these generation 2s a few months ago. So just after, not too long after I went homeless, ended up buying these. Just because I thought I was going to get lots of content and similar thing. I've not really used them that much. But now I've moved into the city in Manchester. I think I can make great use of them because there's so much going on. I've never really had any ideas as to what to do. So I was actually discussing it with some people last night regarding what kind of content I could use with these. It would mainly probably be on TikTok, but I could put some stuff on YouTube too. I'm not really a prank sort of guy, maybe some more social experiments, so I just need to have a think of what to do, really. Just candid conversations perhaps with strangers, street interviews, things like that. Obviously I'm going to be informing the people. I'm not one of those creeps that goes around filming women. I'm married anyway, so I'm not going to be going up to random women trying to do Riz content and stuff like that and filming women without their consent and stuff. I understand you're out in public, there's no expectation of privacy, but with me, all of my public street interviews, you can see in my documentary, I've always asked for consent prior to taking them. Even my videos that are on Omi TV, where it's a public chat site, but I've always asked for permission before posting, and if the person didn't want to be posted, I'd be like, fine. If they wanted to be blurred out, I'll blur them out. So I'm just one of them, me. Unless it's something crazy happening, and obviously I can't get someone's permission, like a fight breaks out, then I'll film it. But I'm not just going to go up to random people and just start filming them, asking random questions and stuff. But for a social experiment, I don't know, because there's an element of surprise there. For example, I'm not too sure if you guys seen the money social experiment, where somebody with these meta glasses goes up to random people and tests their honesty, drops a bag of money in front of them, or an envelope of money in front of them. Maybe like a grand in cash. Obviously it's prop money, it's fake money. And they basically go up to the person and say, is this yours? I've just seen someone drop it. Is this yours? And 9 times out of 10, the person says yes, and they lie through their teeth, right? Fighting the person, right? Fighting the person, saying, yeah, this is mine. But obviously the person with the glasses is like, oh, really? I've just seen something in there that says PW. What's your name? The initials are PW in there. And obviously the person's like, yeah, my name's Paul Waters. Something along those lines. They come up with another lie, right? So the person... So the person also says, oh, I saw some prescription in there for herpes medication, herpes meds. Do you have herpes? And obviously a lot of people get embarrassed, but some people still lie and say, yeah. Some people say it's not actually for me, it's for my husband or it's for my wife, which is crazy. But yeah, something like that maybe, I don't know. Obviously I wouldn't inform the person up until after that it's a social experiment and that it's being filmed. And see what they say. If they want it to be online, they want it to be online. If they just ideas like that, that's more my thing. Rather than just going up to pranking people. I'm 34 years old, you know what I mean? Too old to be pranking people. Not that I'm saying I'm old, but mate, even when I was 20 something, I probably wouldn't have been doing that kind of content. But yeah, I've got these custom glasses, custom made lenses. Got a little bit of a tint to them, so it gives you a little bit of protection from the sun. At the same time, I'm able to wear them indoors without looking like I'm a wannabe celebrity. And yeah, I'm just gonna see how it goes. I'm here for a few months at least in Manchester, so plenty of opportunity to get content, I think, with these. Let's just see where the day takes me as well, because there's a lot to do. I'm starting a new job soon. I haven't got an official start date yet, so things are looking more positive already. And then once my affordability goes up, I can start looking around for more secure rentals, secure property to live in with my wife. And yeah, it's mad, man. It's been a mad journey. We're in the 7th month now of this. Second time it's happened as well. Second time, bro. But yeah, let's see where it goes. One thing I forgot to mention regarding this homelessness situation, living from hotel to hotel. Me and my wife, as a couple, we have quite a bit of stuff, right? Not loads and loads of stuff, but we've got a decent amount of stuff. And so we've got a few boxes here, a few storage bags there. And it's taken up most of the space in the room. Is most of the space an exaggeration? Is that an exaggeration? Okay, maybe about half. Okay, maybe about a third. Basically, we have very little space already in the room because the hotel rooms, as you know, if you've ever been in a hotel, most of them are fairly small, especially travel lodges anyway. And some of them are quite big, but what I'm trying to say is when you have a decent sized flat, an apartment, you're going to have a lot more space than you will do in a hotel room. And so that's been driving me somewhat mad. It's frustratingly annoying having such little space to move around in. But we had our stuff in storage for about 3 months, which gave us the ability to move around more freely. Because you don't want to be moving around from hotel to hotel with a whole bunch of possessions and belongings, and you want to minimize that as much as you can, right? So that's what we did. We had our stuff in storage, and we recently took it out. Just took it out the other day, actually, because the place that we moved into now, the hotel we moved into now, it's a lot more secure. There's a lot more amenities. It has a kitchenette, for example, a laundry room, which is great. You don't have to take our stuff to the laundrette every week. But it's these little things that you forget to appreciate when you're living in a rental. At the same time, the rental that we last lived in, well, not the one we last lived in, the one we got illegally evicted from, but the one that we lived in Rochdale was too noisy, far too noisy. Again, feel free to check out my video on that specifically, on the second time I was illegally evicted, the second time we were illegally evicted. The noise was just atrocious. I don't care how much space you have in the flat. If I can hear the person next door snoring at night, it's not worth it. If I can hear somebody urinating from the next door flat in their toilet as if they're in our toilet, it's not worth it. I shouldn't be able to hear pee going into the toilet from next door, right? I shouldn't be able to hear people stomping from 7 in the morning till 1 a.m. the next day. That is ridiculous. So we had to move out of there, which obviously led to us going to the flat in Preston where we were illegally evicted. It's an evil world we live in. What kind of evil landlord would shut off the electrics and the water? Shut off the electrics and the water. Slap bang in the middle of winter. That's crazy when I think about it. The lack of empathy that you must feel toward your fellow man. To not care if they would freeze, hoping that you would just drive them out by shutting off not just the electrics but the water as well. So you cut off their water supply, so they can't go to the sink to fill up a glass of water. They can't boil the kettle because they have no electricity or water. They can't flush the toilet because they have no water. So they're having to go downstairs to the common room and filling up the kettle and boiling the kettle that way, and using that kettle also to flush the toilet. You know what I mean? As if we're living in a third world country. This is supposed to be Great Britain, right? This is England. What are people doing, cutting off access to human basic rights so easily and freely without fear of consequences? That's how poor these laws are, really. We have all of these laws and all of these rules and all of these regulations in the UK. It's madness. Yet, it only really affects you when you're... either when you don't know your rights, I suppose, or when you're not in a certain income bracket. I'm not trying to say that people who are rich and wealthy don't ever get penalised for anything. Of course they do. But the laws are for certain people to a certain extent. The laws definitely protect the rich more than they do the poor or middle class. Let me put it that way. And it shouldn't be like that, but it is. If a landlord wants to go rogue and kick you out, shut off your electrics and water, and the police say, oh, we're not going to get involved because it's a civil matter, what can you do? Right? And it's as clear as day as well. They even admitted it in an email. That's how bold they were. That's how little respect they had for the laws of the land to admit all of their wrongdoings in an email. So we have it in... we have literally a written record in the form of an email correspondence detailing their crimes, because it is illegal. It's illegal to do that. So in theory, it should be an easy win in court, but then again, who has the power, who has the finances and the time and the energy to go to court these days? Everybody's already stressed. There's a lot of stress in most people's everyday life. And that's not to say that I wouldn't revisit this in the future, because it's not as if we can't. We definitely have all the evidence to pursue a lawsuit, for sure. And they really shot themselves in the foot with all the things that they did, to be honest. It's crazy. And all they're doing really is hoping that we wouldn't pursue that. They're definitely hoping. And a lot of people do that, right? A lot of rogue landlords will do things illegally because it cuts corners, gets faster results, and they're banking on the tenant not pursuing it legally. Because of all the stress and all the time and all the resources it takes to fight a legal battle. Even for something as clear cut as this. And obviously there are cases where people do win. But there's so many cases where it doesn't go to court simply because the tenant is too overstretched. And I know there are a lot of lawyers, I suppose, solicitors and firms that do the no-win, no-claim, the no-win, no-fee claims. So again, it's something I might pursue in the future. Right now, it's going to bring too much stress to me and my wife, without going into too much. So, it's mad. It's just an evil world that we live in. It's an evil world. I'm not trying to say I'm flawless by any means. by the way, I'm definitely not. I've definitely done my wrongs. But yeah, I suppose stooping to that level is something I couldn't imagine doing, but everyone's got different levels of evil in it. Take care anyway, people. Thank you for watching.